and we are active. Another installment, easily rigged. But before we get into it, y'all know how we do.
They holler who that is, hanging all out the window. Some thunder boys and they going off the endo. Where they from? DP's ball out from Miller Park. They go jump up in them scrapers. See them coming up the block. Bill Clinton going dumb. All out the scraper, stunner boys here. Mission is the major, watch your girl before I take her, cause I'm on the strip shining. We don't move like no clock. But boy, it's big time and lead a block to my Insta, cause boy, it's big grinding. 20-inch rims, freaks on film. She eat her, why she eat him? You already know who game tougher than leather. We throw parties that go dumber than ever. Young niggas wildin' out, shaking they dreads. Boy, is you biz or is you smack? Cause you all out the window with a face of a triple stack. I'm money hungry, plus I need all mine. Rigs on the beat, you gon' see our shine. Why you think they call us a dummy foe? Cause we stunt and we stunt hanging out the dope. They holler who that is, hanging all out the window. Some thunder boys and they going off the endo. Where they from? DP's ball out from Miller Park. They go jump up in them scrapers. See them coming up the block. They holler who that is, hanging all out the window. Some thunder boys and they going off the endo. Where they from? DP's ball out from Miller Park. They go jump up in them scrapers. See them coming up the block. Every time I hit the block, spoon drop this stuff time. Candy on them dub things, bumping for one time. I'ma do the fool like I'm mental and ignorant. Jumping at a stop sign while I ain't giving it. Throwing up the block cause you know when I'm feeling it. We ghost ride the whip like we ain't even feeling shit. High feed, call a stunner boy. Till a shoe every whip, now who's stunting boy? At every function, sideshow, neighborhood event. You catch me dipping in the scraper with the 16-inch flip. Reppin' PA, Menlo, Northern Cali finest. If I'm scraping past a dollar, mean the police right behind us. We don't care, we going on Big Perp and X pills. Stunner boys, they stunting the block on big wheels. Get big skrills, cause they ain't fucking with us. We in the building and we feeling like nigga with us. They holler who that is, hanging all out the window. Some thunder boys and they going off the endo. Where they from? DP's ball out from Miller Park. They go jump up in them scrapers. See them coming up the block. They holler who that is, hanging all out the window. Some thunder boys and they going off the endo. Where they from? DP's ball out from Miller Park. They go jump up in them scrapers. See them coming up the block. I got a few of my young niggas all out the window. Stunting up the block, niggas know what they info. We feeling stacked, our rims are stacked. Plus we smoking on that perk weed, leaning back. They know we coming up the block, holding the meanest stats. When you stunt like them stunners, you get mean with racks. Candy paints on the model, we mean at that. Bumping nothing less than 15s and holding us at. And we'll teach you how to stunt. All through the bay, we ride candy and blunt. When we come, the show shut down. No field goals, all touchdowns. Police come, we beat goes down. High speed and run them through the whole town and get away. I'm not locked like Akon, supercharged kick, running on stop sign. They holler who that is, hanging all out the window. Some thunder boys and they going off the endo. Where they from? DP's ball out from Miller Park. They go jump up in them scrapers.
You are now tuned in to another installment of Easily Rigged. B-Eazy Dat Dude, Big Rig Slaps in the building.
Yeah, Easily Rigged. Shout out my boy B-Eazy. I be Big Rig Slaps, man. You know what it is. Another edition. Let's get it going. Tuesday night.
Okay, we in the building, man, and it's actually time to get active, man. Easily Rigged, another installment, and it will be fire per the usual. And it looks like we got none other than Mimsy Limbs in the building. Shout out to Mimsy Limbs, and follow the instructions. Bada bing, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. But let me go ahead and throw this up here real quick. There we go. And we got none other than Miss Polly in the building. Shout out to Miss Polly.
Shout out Miss Polly.
And Mrs. Kimberly, good morning. She is over here sipping. Is that some tea and crumpets, or is that some coffee?
That's her coffee. She always drinking coffee, yo, for real. Salute to my sister Kimberly KMA. What up?
Shout out to Kimberly. with that coffee. I don't know if that's espresso. I wonder how good them beans is, because I know they got Colombian beans that's regarded, but it's other places around the world that got some extremely rich coffee.
Some South African beans, dog. That's what she got. South African beans.
That's what I'm saying. They don't really be getting love like that. Everybody refer to the Colombian beans, but I'm sure she's sipping on some flavors that we ain't, you know what I mean? She got that exclusive, you feel me? So shout out to Kimberly. And Miss Polly is in here represented. And we gonna get right into it. Let me see if I got the subject queued up. But are weak men on the rise? You know what I mean? And actually, hold up. Just give me uno momento. And coffee dates. Coffee dates is lit. A lot of cats, that's some game right there that people don't even be taking advantage of, right? Dudes always trying to take a chick out to Roof Chris and pay $300, and then you complaining that you didn't get the box. Why you just ain't take her out to coffee? You know what I mean? Even if you buy her the most expensive stuff on the menu, what you still gonna spend? What, like $40? You know what I mean? You go to Roof Chris or any other place, you looking at a few hundred, easy. You know what I mean? But yeah, coffee dates is lit, especially if you're trying to get to know a person. But if you're trying to just floss and show that you some sort of baller or fake stunting, probably don't want to go on that coffee date. What about y'all? You feel me? Y'all ever been on a coffee date or what?
Man, that's back in the day. Yeah, man. Me and my lady, we done a few peace dates and things of that nature.
I got
you know what I'm saying? In fact, we need to do that again, but you know what I'm saying, just scheduling and what I'm saying, just trying to do certain things. But yeah, man, hey, them coffee days be lit. You can sit back, y'all can actually have a conversation. Yeah. You can play a board game. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's a really good way to connect. Very underrated way to connect. You know what I'm saying?
And Miss Kimberly says exactly. The first guy I fell in love with took me on a coffee and cake date. Love, I was sold. Yeah, shout out to him. You feel me? That's what I'm saying. Cats be acting like they super red pill and got all this game, and then you ask them like, have you ever took a chick on a coffee date? And if you truly got mouthpiece, or if you truly are a man of substance, you should be able to take her to the park, take her on a coffee date. Man, you could take her to Chuck E. Cheese and she'll be like, I'm not a kid. Yeah, but I wanted to take you so you can tap into your inner kid and let's play these arcade games. Better she cool. Bruh, I've done it before. If she really feeling you, why wouldn't she want to go? Chuck E. Cheese got fire pizza and they got arcade games. Arcade games.
Pizza.
I'm telling you. Hey, where's the lie, Mr. Ben? Ask Big Rig a pizza connoisseur. He know Chuck E. Cheese got fire pizza.
To be honest, I ain't had Chuck E. Cheese, bro, since so long. I couldn't even tell you what that shit tastes like, brother.
Man, I haven't had it in so long, but the last time I had it, it was on point. But it's not really so much about the pizza, because even if the pizza was trash, the fact that she would be willing to go, and that shows the interest, right? Because easily people could say Chuck E. Cheese is for kids, but I could say Great America is for kids, right? I could say watching Disney movies is for kids. But then if you get a chick over to Netflix and chill, I mean, you could watch Pocahontas. I'm saying you could watch Pocahontas and smash.
Oh, is he in the hold on? Is he in the hold on?
Yeah, hold on, bro.
What you doing now?
I need to hold on right now, bro. Like, if you can hit the button, I need to hold on right now.
Hold on. If it's up, then it's stuck, man.
Hold on. Now I'm doing a hold on. You know what I'm saying?
Off top, man, it's some bull ass shit, B-Eazy. So look, I know we started off, you know what I'm saying? You popped up in here, a little whatever on the shirt, you feel me? But you want to go ahead and start talking about, oh yeah, he the pizza connoisseur. I know he know what this What kind of bull ass shit is that?
A little sneak, a slight.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this brother that snuck one on. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm served pizza lot now. You feel me? You know, I know that. God dog it, man. Go ahead though, man.
Nah, but who do got the best pizza in the Bay though? Like for real.
Big Rick, don't say you don't know who got the best pizza.
Man, there's this spot on the east side that's pretty good, but I can't think of their name, man. And they're right off of like White Road.
It's probably one of them hole in the wall spots, right?
It is, bro. It is,
bro. That's the places, like, I can't even tell you. If you go to Oakland, the best place that got the best burritos is in probably the most dangerous hood. If you make it out alive, it's gonna be the best burrito you ever had, bro. I can't.
Hey, that food, it's that food truck off on High Street.
Hey,
dog.
You gotta live dangerous just to get some good food.
I think it's on High Street and on International, dog. Yeah. That one is fire, dog. But you got to be careful over there. Right next to the check place.
He says you got to be careful over there.
No, you really do, cuz.
You do.
And like, we joking about it, but it's for real. If you go,
everybody be out there though, bro. Everybody be out there, like literally trying to get that food.
Well, this the thing. Everybody that's out there is kind of from there, so they know the lay of the land. But I knew a dude that he was actually traveling out here, and he went over there and he left his car. Like, he parked somewhere in Oakland, but it's a lot of people bipping, bro. So they just broke into his car, took all of his stuff. You feel me? He thought he could just park and kind of explore the neighborhood. I'm like, bro, you can't just be parking anywhere and just walking around looking for food trucks and stuff. So, you know, you do got to be careful, right?
Oh, we scared Sister Kimberly. We ain't mean to scare you, sis. She ain't scared. She messing with us.
Nah, you know how rough it could get in South Africa, so you'll survive Oakland, San Jose, Richmond. I think you'll be good. Plus, Kimberly, you are a very affable, nice person, so they won't see you as threatening. If anything, they'll try to holler at you and get the number, versus attack you. But let's get into it though. Like, are weak men on the rise? Because we always got to have the sidebar appetized discussions. But let me see. M3 also says, unfortunately, we have some who will disqualify men for axing out on coffee days. Yeah, before we go on, I definitely got to speak on that too, because some women will say, bro, you just being super cheap. I remember one of my homies, he took a chick out, and of course he was paying for everything, but he used a coupon, and then she was laughing at him and was calling him broke, and then he went on, and started calling her, a female dog and everything. And but I was just thinking, like, why are you clowning the man? Because he's trying to save money, and he's paying, and she's like, I ain't never had no dude do that. That's embarrassing, calling him broke. Like, what y'all think about that? Or have y'all ever encountered that, or would y'all use? I know Mr. Best is familiar of Groupon. Like, so what the chick saying? If I use a Groupon, you gonna call me a dusty? Come on now.
But the thing is, half of these women that have all these standards, right? A lot of them can't even pay for this stuff themselves, which is a shame. So you want me to take you all these places, but you can't even pay for it yourself. And then I'm asking you, like, why you want me to take you here? You can't pay for yourself. And you're like, well, because I'm the man. No. Well, all right. So if I'm the man and you got those criteria, as a woman, I feel like if I take you to this place, and I need to get what I want out of this too. It's got to be a two-way street, mama. So if you want me to take you to this place and spend all this cash and pay for your travel and your gas and everything else, then it's got to be a two-way street. I got to get some at the end of this too. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of times they're not with it. So, you know what I mean? And that's how you get them. And even if you don't even want to be on that time with them, you just got to test them. You test them and you see their reaction. And that'll let you know what it is. Yo, shout out to Marcus too. I see you in here. High Value Nurse was good. M3 was good. I ain't shout out. My bad. Oh, you in Miami? All right, baby. High Value Nurse be on the move. I know he be on the move, baby. What's good?
Okay, we see how you living. High Value Nurse. Hey, you got room in the penthouse for me? Hit me up, High Value Nurse. And then we got this Kimberly says the secret of living a simple life is enjoying the simple things. I would agree. And shout out to Marcus in the building. And she says, facts, if you can't afford it, why demand it? Because they looking for a free meal. Look it up. They got some chicks that go out and they got a food guy. Literally a dude that they know has no chance of smashing, but he takes them on food dates and they post them on Instagram and Snap and TikTok and get a bunch of views on someone else's dime. And then they spend their money on other frivolous stuff. Of course, this is not all. But there is a contingent of women, a growing contingent that likes to do this. And nobody has to take my word for it. Just type in chicks, sugar daddies, food. You'll find
and they got his number. They got his number saved as lunch in their phone.
Yeah. And for some dudes that, and I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, because some dudes actually enjoy that, right? If they say, if I get to just spend money on this meal and chill with a chick that I think is super fine, who I would never be able to kick it with, for some kind of incel dudes or some dudes that may be low value or lesser value, at least the way they perceive themselves, that's a good deal for them, right? If they see a chick and they like, oh, she thick, she got a body, she's gorgeous, all I gotta do is take her out to whatever restaurant, spend $100. They was gonna spend $100 on some Yu-Gi-Oh cards anyways, right? So they like, I'll definitely do it for her. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of dude, you know what I mean? But I understand, I understand why these chicks have a market for that. But
I don't understand Kimberly's question. She said, where are they finding?
She says, where are they finding these guys? 10 years ago, I needed that. She basically saying, where are they finding these foodie guys who take these shit? Mr. Best, you haven't heard about that?
No. I know them. They saved the guy's number under their phone as lunch. All right, and that's all he's there for is lunch. You know what I mean? And they call him up when he wants some lunch. And he picks up every time.
Bruh, he literally picks up every time. He's never gonna get the cheeks, but whatever restaurant she wants to try out, he's like, for sure, let's go. And High Value Nurse says, that's why I don't care when men trick for the box. Women trick their time for the meal. I don't have an issue with dudes tricking. If a dude wants to trick, it's supply and demand, because not to say much, but I've been on that opposite end of dudes trick, so it's encouraged for me for dudes to trick. I say fair exchange is no robbery. You know what I mean? I just don't promote tricking. If someone is a trick, that's innate in them. It's something that they want to do, and if they've worked hard enough to earn money and say, hey, look, this is what I want to spend or trick my money on, who am I to say, no, you shouldn't be doing that? But if you're trying to promote a tricking lifestyle to other people, that's what I don't really condone. Let people make their choices. If they're led down a path where they believe tricking is their best or only option, then, maybe I'll persuade them, or maybe they're just utterly convinced that this is their best option. Then let them trick, you know what I mean? So I've actually, I've been on the opposite side where people, where I've benefited from tricks. So I'm actually pro trick. I'm just not a trick and never will be. But he says relationships is tractional anyway. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Fair exchange is no robbery. If there's a transaction, the dude is getting companionship and he get to say, oh, I was out with a baddie, I'm mingling with baddies. There's a certain sense of societal clout where people like, oh, look at him. And if all he got to do is trick $50, $100 that he was going to spend on something anyways, for him, that's a win. You know what I mean? Me, I need to get more bang for my buck. You know what I mean? But for him, he's getting the most bang for his buck, that he's ever got. If you think about Yu-Gi-Oh cards and comic books and Fortnite versus
Yu-Gi-Oh card.
I'm saying it's usually or my bad, World of Warcraft. What is it? Fortnite? I don't know what these cats be playing. Minecraft. If it's either that or sitting across from a baddie talking about stuff and she fake acting like she likes you, that does have value. You know what I mean? It definitely does. It's an experience. It's an experience you can't replace by watching a movie or playing a video game. You love video games, but it can't replace that human contact. And he says, yeah, I agree. I don't promote tricking, but I ain't mad, though. It makes sense in a lot of ways in 2023. It makes sense in more ways than ever in 2023. And actually, more people are going to be tricking even more because in some senses, a lot of tricks have better options. Well, they have the best options than they've ever had because due to the thought culture and the, the sexual liberation culture, more women are joining OnlyFans. Of course, it's not all, but it's still more women are joining OnlyFans. Just type up teacher joins OnlyFans, actress joins OnlyFans. So there's more solicitation out there. There's supply and demand. So dudes are already tricking in some capacity. They're tricking off their energy, right? They're tricking off their emotions by liking and commenting on chicks' posts that don't want anything to do with them. So they're tricking off money too in forms of Cash Apps, Super Chats, subscribing to their OnlyFans, subscribing to their Patreon. Some people are tricking off to get the box or get the top. You know what I mean? Some people are tricking off just to get FaceTime. All of this is just more of a thought trick culture. It goes hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly. You need both. You know what I mean? You can have it separate, but it's better with both. And then once it's separate, it's like an oxymoron, right? You know what I mean? The thoughts need someone to watch their stuff and to buy it, and the tricks need some thoughts out there to do that type of stuff. There's not going to be some wifely, homely person typically that's on OnlyFans, so they need someone outside of that specific archetype for women to do this. So sometimes the dudes be complaining, oh, she for the streets. I'm like, bruh, you're a trick. You feel me? The only chicks that you're gonna be able to really trick on is the ones that's for the streets. All the other good ones is wiped up. You're not gonna be able to trick on them. You know what I mean? But she says, so all these years of working and buying my own food, telling me that someone could have been getting me a Starbucks breakfast every day without me spending money. I'm evaluating my life. Kimberly, either you are trolling or you playing, because Kimberly, if
she's
you
trolling big time. She's trolling big time.
So I would even say you definitely trolling humongously, because Kimberly, if you was out here in any city, not only would you get Starbucks breakfast every day, you would get some dinner every day. And dare I say, there would be some people that be willing to like massage feet, get you manicures, pedicures, all this stuff would just come.
Hey, she booking that flight right now.
Okay, I'm
flight getting booked.
Oh yeah, so she said she trolling. I was like, okay, Kim, I was about to say Kimberly or Capperly, because you was capping for a little bit, Kim, but I know you was just trolling. And high value nurses, that's why if ex workers become legal in all states, it's a wrap for marriage as we know it. I agree. And once marriage is a wrap, more people are going to be more consumers, right? That's what we already have, a consumer culture. A trick is an ultimate consumer, but he's consuming a delicacy. He's consuming a fetish, but he's still a consumer. He or she, typically he is what we talk about. but he says it's the girls that look like Precious getting tricked on. Well, it's girls that look like Precious getting tricked on, and it's girls that look like Rihanna getting tricked on, then it's girls that look like junkies getting tricked on. So it is a multitude. It's not just one, because a lot of dudes don't really have access like that to the vagina. So when they're able to trick off and say, look, I got money, I got Bitcoin, crypto, I can send you a Cash App. Now they have access to the punani that they never had before. So it's a game changer. You know what I mean?
This is my song for real, no doubt.
All right, so cool. It looks like that was pretty much it. And Kimberly says madness, yeah. And he says you'll only get that privilege from the United Simps of America. Yeah, that's a good one. You know what I mean? Definitely a lot of simps. And she says we have guys like that here, but they're scary, honestly. They're scared of you. They intimidated. You know, they see that beauty and they don't know, would they be able to handle it? And that's actually one of the things that I wanted to touch on when we're talking about weak men. So let me just go ahead and really set this up, since you know how we do. We keep it lit with the chat, and we haven't even truly got to the topic, but we kind of have, you feel me? So that's how we do over here on Easily Rigged. So let's talk about it, man. So you know me, I'm always doing my research and preparing things as best as I could do. Sometimes just on the fly and clutch like Steph Curry. But let me just speak on this, bro. When we're saying, are weak men on the rise? Maybe, maybe not. So I'm going to just present some stuff out there, and then we're going to try to unpack it, explore it a little bit. But most people can't bring up, well, most people that say that don't really bring up substantive evidence to allude to that being a fact. But I think when we talk about weaker, what exactly are we talking about? When we talk about physical, there was a study done published by the Journal of Hand Therapy in 2016, and it says the grip strength of young men has declined significantly since the 80s. So we can say, hey, okay, hand strength, that's one. We look at, there's like testosterone is definitely declining in men. So it seems just those are some indicators, but I think more so than that physical aspect of it, I think it's the emotional maturity aspect of it. So let's just kind of talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to read what I have written here. So it says, it is important to note that the concepts of weak and strong can be subjective and vary across cultures and contexts. So we're having a very generalized question. I know once you single it down to different cultures, different scenarios, different parts of the world, these things could change. And I'm just giving a disclaimer about the subjectivity of this discussion. So expert studies, research have identified some common traits and behaviors that are often associated with weak and strong men. So I'm just going to provide the examples that other people have studied, researched, and that are experts that have spoke on this. So this is not just me spouting this. Y'all can look it up. So weak men are typically associated with avoiding taking responsibility for their actions, lacking confidence and self-assurance. They tend to be passive and avoid conflict. They struggle with emotional intelligence and may suppress or deny their emotions. They display physical and or emotional insecurity. They lack ambition and drive to achieve goals. They may resort to manipulation or bullying to get what they want. They often rely on others for emotional or financial support. And I'm going to juxtapose that, which are common characteristics of what a strong man is. Is someone who takes responsibility for their actions and their impact on others. They display confidence and self-assurance without arrogance. They tend to be assertive and willing to stand up for what they believe in. They have emotional intelligence and are able to express and manage their emotions effectively. They display physical and emotional strength and resilience. They have clear goals and are motivated to achieve them. They use communication and negotiation skills rather than manipulation or bullying to get what they want. They're independent and self-sufficient while also being supportive and nurturing of others. Now, it's important to note that these traits are not exclusive to either category. Of course, there's more context to give to it, but each person could apply this individually. And being strong or weak is not a fixed state. It can change over time based on experiences, personal growth, and self-awareness. So what I just laid on you, go ahead, y'all. Whoever want to pick it up from there.
I don't think people are weaker or even men are weaker. I just think in society we're more comfortable, right? Like, all right, take for instance, look at how we grew up, right? It wasn't no Uber and Lyft when we was growing up. You had to call a cab, right? Then you had to wait for the cab to get there, right? And the cab will give you a time when to get there. Sometimes it may be early, sometimes it may be late. You know what I'm saying? If not, then you had public transportation. If not, then you had your own car. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know, if you want to make a phone call, you wasn't in your house, you had to go to a payphone. There wasn't no cell phones, wasn't none of that. You know what I mean? If you wanted food, wasn't no Uber Eats or no DoorDash or no Whole Foods on Amazon app. Wasn't none of that. You had to physically get up, go to the store, and get your groceries. You know what I'm saying? So people are just more comfortable. And that's what technology has done. Technology has made us more comfortable. Don't mean people are weaker, they're just more comfortable. So in that comfort, but that's how each society, right? If we look at the span of time, as time goes on, each generation has more technology. So there was things that the last generation had, the generation before didn't have. You know what I'm saying? But people had to fight to get that. People had to create those things. You know what I mean? And that made things more comfortable. Life is about, you know, trying to find the best way to live your best life and be comfortable, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think a bigger thing is that do people need to be more healthy or more aware of what they're doing to themselves, because we have so much, we have things that are so accessible to us, right? You know what I mean? So if I want to listen to music, I no longer have to put a vinyl. I ain't got to get up, you know what I mean? Go to my record player, find the vinyl, look for the vinyl, put in the vinyl player. I ain't got to do that no more. I can sit on my couch, literally, pick up my phone, and play whatever music I want. Whatever music I want, especially if I'm paying for it. I'm paying for a service. I can do anything I want. So it's accessibility. You know what I mean? Technology makes things more accessible. Due to that, we're able just to have more resources at our fingertips. You know what I'm saying? And that's life. Life is always going to be that way. You know what I mean? People had horses, then they went from horses to trains, to the railroads, to then people had cars. Like, that's just how life is. Life is always about moving closer and closer to being more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And he said, getting phone numbers have been replaced by exchanges. So yeah, exactly. Everything changes though in 3. Like, everything changes, and it's supposed to change. Technology moves things forward. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say if you want to say we're lazy in like how we deal with our relationships, right? We're lazy with, like, you know, possibly like our health and how seriously we take it, or just mental health and all that. But we could be lazy in that, but I don't think people are weaker. I just think we're just more comfortable because we got more technology and more resources. That's it, but that's every generation. So it is what it is.
So, do you think people are as intellectually sound, intellectually apt as they were in years past?
I think so. I think because we have more information at our hands, I ain't gotta go to the library no more. If I want to know something, I pick up my phone, look at it. You know what I'm saying? So you got little kids.
Yeah, but you have to have the desire. You'd have to have the desire to seek that information. Do people truly have the desire to delve into the information? Most people read the headlines. I know you're like referring to yourself, but I don't see everyone when they hear a talking point, they don't look and try to find the counter talking points or see if it's true. They just go with it and they be in the comments arguing about stuff that they haven't even looked up. And they like, I haven't watched the video, but here's my take on it. I haven't read this, or I don't know about slavery, but yeah, it was embellished, etc. So I'm not speaking on you, but many people are doing that now because they is like, I don't want to take the time to look this up. If I give a person a book from Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Henry Clark, they have all the information. Do you really think that the majority of people are going to read it, process that information, and apply it?
Kimberly KMA stole my answer, but it is what it is. But that's it right there. Is what your household allows, right? She says she forces her kids to play outside at least 4 hours, right? Because human interaction is getting some sun and it is needed. So it's what you be exposed to. So I know I got like there's a little cousin in my family, right? Yo, he knows every single dinosaur by heart. It's a Velociraptor and TX, and he naming dinosaurs I didn't even know existed. I'm not into dinosaurs, so I don't care. So he's naming all these different dinosaurs and, what they can do and what they ate and all. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, and he's really on it because that's what he's been exposed to and that's what he's passionate about. So it's what you're being exposed to. So we got the technology, so it's what we're exposing ourselves to. So, and it starts at home. It starts when you're a kid. So these kids now, these two little kids are able to recite, you know what I mean? They're able to name like all the continents. They're able to name all these countries, and their IQs are all different types of levels. You're like, yo, how is that? And that's a lot of that is technology. A lot of it is that they have the thesauruses and the dictionaries and all that on their phone, on their laptop, on their tablet, and all this other stuff. So, but there's also people who don't use it for that, right? So we have the other side of the coin, right, where they're using it for for just chill stuff. You know what I mean? Chill stuff or bullshit or whatever you want to call it, or just stuff that's fun, right? So it just depends on what you expose yourself to, what you've been exposed to as a youth, you know what I mean? And, what you're passionate about. But the knowledge is there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You know what I mean? It's definitely there. But it depends on the person. It depends on their upbringing and just how they was raised and what they're passionate about. So me, I research certain things, but there's other people who research things that I don't even care about. Like I said, little man who do the dinosaurs. I don't care about no dinosaurs. But he loves it, so he knows everything about it. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Go ahead, Big Rig. What you think?
The way you started off the conversation, those were two great examples from being a weak man kind of examples and being strong. I like when Mr. Best came in and what he said about I wouldn't call it weak, I would call it comfortable. And I was like, you know what? That's a lot better way of putting it. Because with the examples and how he put it, that is what it is. We're a lot more comfortable. We got things that we can do at our fingertips now. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, I was still changing some of the TVs. I had to change them, bro. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have the remote because it kind of costed a little bit of money, and we didn't just have that TV yet. You feel me? So now you can't walk in a house without seeing a flat screen, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, everything is just different. The cab thing, like that was That was fantastic. I got my license when I turned 16 years old because I wanted to drive. I wanted to do that. Kids now, they don't really be tripping, bro, because they got the Ubers. You know, everything is just, it's more simplified. I'm gonna take the Uber here, jump on the BART, I'll be in the city. You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't gotta worry about parking or nothing. You know what I mean? I just Uber, which is cool because now you can, if you of age, you know what I'm saying, you can have a drink or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting in no car. You know, you Ubering. But now, I gotta say this. I do see. Run the name of the topic again real quick. B-Eazy.
It should be scrolling at the bottom. Are weak men on the rise?
I gotta say that image wise, I would say yes. I see things that I didn't see younger. I see things to me that would.
But hold on, let me stop you, Big Rig. I'm gonna let you cook because I'm kind of.
Hey, he's talking about the big red boots. That's what he's talking about.
I'm a little deeper than that.
Yeah, I want to hear it all. I want you to unpack that all because I understand the comfortability, what you're saying. And I can understand that as it being like a form of semantics, you know what I mean? But why I think it's deeper than the comfortability is because what y'all just laid out in Big Rig is about to touch in on the imagery, which I do agree. People have a weaker sense of imagery, which I will pull up some images of how people used to carry themselves, i.e., Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael. Now people are representing themselves weaker, not only with their image, but intellectually. And now when we're talking about technology at our fingertips and being comfortable, just because it's being comfortable, nothing that was described tonight about comfortability, I didn't hear anything that was strengthening. Now, people could use it to be strengthened, but that's not typically how a lot of people are doing. If you look at the how many people are reading on a 5th grade reading level, you know, and now teachers are complaining about kids using Chat GPT and other stuff. We had Cliff Notes. Now they're using Chat GPT and smartphones and doing all this other stuff. So a lot of people are very weak intellectually. Then when you take it to the point of their hand strength and testosterone, lower sperm count, they're being weak in terms of reproduction, physical. Then, so now we already got mental. Financially, they're weaker too because nobody could afford to buy a house now. So they're weaker than, that's why people say, make America great again. They want to talk about go back to the 50s and something where people could afford a house. Financially, they're weaker. Mentally, they're weaker. Physically, they're weaker. And you're saying now that image, they're weaker. So I do agree that people have got comfortable, but that comfortability, everything that's in the comfort zone, you go there to be lackadaisical, right? You go there to chill, but nothing is growing out of the comfort zone. You feel me? You don't grow from Netflix and chilling. You grow from saying, nah, I don't got time for Netflix and chilling tonight. I gotta go grind. You grow from grinding. Netflix and chilling is just that. You're not gaining strength from that. If anything, you may be getting a pot belly because you eating all this junk food, laying up with this chick, not gonna work out. Y'all just gonna keep watching movie after movie, series after series, you know, compared to somebody else that's really out there getting it, who's uncomfortable, working 10 or 20 hours. So the comfortability is making people more weaker. It's comfortable to chill in the house and play video games all day. It's comfortable to say, hey, I don't need to write an essay. I'll have Chat GPT write the essay for me. If you have a business, that makes sense and it's efficient. But if you are trying to get a job or pass a class and you have everyone else doing this stuff for you, you're not growing mentally. So that is a form of weakness. Because if I ask you something on the spot and I say, nah, don't use your phone, no chat GPT, and you like, that shows me you intellectually weak. You are only what? The tech that you have at your hand. So I do agree that people are comfortable, but their level of comfortability is making them extremely docile, extremely weak. So go ahead, Big Rig. I just had to add that, bro.
You a cold dude, bro. But yeah, when it comes to the image, just when it comes to the male, I like how you kind of brought up like the Malcolm X. Those are all different eras, right? So that'd be like different eras of how men kind of would the late Kevin Samuels was kind of putting out there, like, wear a suit. Back in the days, that's all men did was wear suits. You know what I'm saying? So now you see, outfits for men that weren't really for men back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess if you want to put it on the times, but men carry, man bags, if you want to call it, but they look like purses, certain type of, garments, I mean? I got to use the word garment, you know what I'm saying? And it's different, and it's like they're trying to take the masculinity out of the man, So I see that as a definite form of weakness, though. That guy that was the buff dude doing those Old Spice commercials and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he may come to a Oscar gathering, you know what I'm saying, where everybody at and being something that damn near, resembles a skirt or something, you know what I'm saying, because of fashion.
Yeah, you talking about Terry Crews?
Yeah, Terry, you know what I mean? Not saying he's done that, but I'm just saying, like, he would be okay with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I brought something up to Mr. Best, about a couple weeks ago with how, LeBron came out, and what 84 said was correct. Who cares? I don't care if the man come out wearing, which is a fact. I can give two shits myself, but just the fact that they have that type of wear for men and they put it out there, you got people that look up to these dudes, you know what I'm saying? And I just, to me, you know what I'm saying, men didn't conduct themselves wearing clothes like that, brother. So it's just a whole different thing, and that's why I say, it is weak, because and then you see the women, and they it's like they getting more masculine in their clothes, you know what I'm saying? You'll see them wearing more, they'll wear some tight jeans and everything, but they kind of moving more away from kind of hitting the block in dresses and skirts, and, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll see them more in some yoga type pants and tights type shit, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just different. That's all I gotta say about the image thing, man.
Okay,
it's
I
weak.
got you,
It's
bro.
weak, bro. It's weak. You seen what old boy, man? What's his name, man? He with Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? And
ASAP
he
Rocky.
he fashionable dude and everything. But some of that shit was, come on, man, it was out. And
Yeah,
I'm
he
just,
definitely got effeminate vibes.
you know what I'm saying? And then just, even the clique, like a lot of people, bro. So it's like it was being pushed, man, and it was just, Gunna, you know what I'm saying? Him, like from YSL, like, oh, it's just different, bro. These cats, I mean, come on, man. I mean, shit, do I gotta say it? Even Young Thugger, man. I mean, this guy was pulling up in wedding dresses, bro.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is exempt. Why will Young Thugger be exempt? If anything, he should be held. He should be held to a higher standard because all you talking about is super street. You know what I mean? Thug stuff. You feel me? Mayhem. deletion. That's all you talking about. But then you also talking about, oh yeah, look at me in a dress. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you trying to act like you set the standard for being a thug or for being a gangbanger. But it's like, bruh, when I grew up, gangbangers wouldn't be, ever caught in a dress. So is that what you're trying to say now? That you saying this with the new age? And you trying to claim a LA West Coast gang and try to recreate it into this. No Bloods or Crips was ever about that. You feel me?
But that's where we got to draw the line. We have to, in our society, we have to stop idolizing people who are not in the field of trying to be an example or in the field to even try to make change that's going to actually impact us. So when we see them wearing dresses and wearing whatever they want to wear, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Rodman wore a dress, 20, 30 years ago? He wore the wedding dress or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he did that for shock value. Yeah, he did. But he did it for shock value, right? But, you know what I'm saying? Like, people I feel like back then had a better understanding that Rodman was a celebrity and he was just doing that for, him being kind of out there. But now we really take these people, to heart, which is why I said what I said to Big Rig when he asked me about the LeBron thing, because he's an athlete. I don't take him to heart like that. Like, he ain't gonna pass no laws. He ain't gonna do nothing that's gonna affect my tax bracket or nothing like that. He ain't gonna give me no career opportunities. He's just an athlete that I watch and I enjoy. I'm a huge LeBron fan, enjoy him, but I know his place in my life and I know what he can and cannot do. But that's where people just have to draw the line. But I think as far as men being more weaker or more effeminate, you know what I'm saying? I think that, it's a choice. You know what I'm saying? So in other cultures, in other places, men do wear certain things. They may wear kilts or they may wear whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, your style of dress is kind of, speaks to, how you want to be. I know what I'm not going to wear. I know what I'm comfortable in. You know what I mean? I'm a sweats and shorts type cat. You know what I'm saying? T-shirts and sweaters is my go-to. Rain jacket if I have to.
You wear turtlenecks? You wear turtlenecks, bro?
I would rock a turtleneck though. I thought about rocking one for the winter, but I didn't buy one because like I got so many sweaters. I was like, man, I don't need no more winter gear. Like, I'm like, man, I ain't gonna need no more winter gear. Let me not buy no more. But yeah, that's something that I'm not wearing. Like, that's not my style of choice. You know what I mean?
What about the boots?
Nah, I don't rock boots like that. If I was to rock boots, it'd be Timberlands. But that's how I grew up. I like Timberlands. You know what I'm saying? Like, Timberlands is my favorite. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's all how you grew up. Like, everybody grew up differently, man. So, like,
that's a heavy fucking shoe, 84.
Yeah, I know. It is. But some people grew up different. Some people like, you know what I mean? Like, some dudes, they be rocking, like Asics and, like, Under Armour shoes and the stretchers and all that. I can't wear no shit like that. I can't wear no shit.
Happen. That's out.
Or Under Armour and shit like that. But I can't do that. That's me, though. Like, that's what I like to rock. You know what I'm saying? And what I was saying as far as, like, people being more comfortable, you know what I mean? I was speaking to it as a fact of saying people are aware. So people are aware. It's just what they want to do with their awareness. You know what I'm saying? You can tell somebody right now, like, yo, man, you should maybe, leave them cancer sticks alone, man. And then, there's a study on it. They showed a commercial. They even got commercials playing. I know you've seen it. They're like, yeah, I seen it, man. But hey, that's what I like to do. So people have a choice. They have a choice to be, aware of things. They have a choice to be educated. And they got a choice to be on that bullshit. And sometimes people be choosing to be on that bullshit. It's a choice. So they know the right thing to do. They know the right things to be around. But people choose what they want to be around. So they choose what they want to say. They choose what they want to be around. They choose what they want to impact them, and they get the results of that. So if you impacted by some just lazy, chill all the time type of behavior, and you just on that time, and you choose that, then you're gonna get the outcome of that. You know what I mean? But it's a choice. So people choose it. They're aware. They just choose what they want to do, and then they live out the results of that. So yeah.
So I wanted to show people that I know some people like to be, hold up, man. Let me show y'all the difference, because some people don't understand the difference between what weak and what strong is. And like I said, it's subjective. And due to it being subjective, I'm going to give something what I believe is a universal standard. What I'm saying shouldn't be subjective. This is clearly objective and blatantly obvious. So when we're talking about what something that's weak is, and if you don't even want to call it weak, if you want to use some euphemism to describe it, feel free. But what I will say is this is not an image that represents strength. Nothing about this represents strength. However, when I see this, that looks pretty strong to me. This looks pretty serious to me. Unserious, serious. Unserious, serious. Doesn't really seem that difficult to grasp. You know what I mean? And let's just go down this road of influence, right? Because we see the Jordans, we see the jeans, you know what I mean? We see the boxers, but why do we see your boxers? Why is there's no belt? If you know you can't fit the pants or the shorts, why are you not wearing a belt? You feel me? Then the boxers, bro, why are you still wearing boxers like that? Those boxers is baggy, so you can't fit your shirt, you can't fit your boxers, you can't fit your shorts. But
yeah, I don't even like the material. But you know, there's a lot of, you know, and I gotta kind of go back before I make this statement, because it can kind of come back, but then in a way it kind of doesn't, bro. Like, my statement is there's a lot of weak-minded dudes with just very, very bad attitudes, bro. What I mean by that, just like we'll get into verbal arguments, you know, like a female, and just the whole nine, bro. Like, just bad. And like, when I say this, I think about, you know, speaking with 84, because, you know, that shit gotta come from somewhere, right? So the blame can't just be, you know, but at the same time, a lot of these motherfuckers don't be listening, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they choose their own path at times. And I don't know where they get this shit from. I don't know if it's more the music pushing it than anything, but it's just it ain't it is nowhere the same, bro. Like, if I just go back to like my time, and then if you go back even prior to that, just we moved in a certain way that was different. The type of game that OGs was giving you was different, bro. It's like I don't know if a lot of these OGs just ain't just speaking up and trying to. I can't call it, bro, but all I can call is that there's just a lot of these dudes, bro, that it just ain't right, bro. And to me, it's really fucking weak, pimp. Like, there ain't nothing cool about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing at all. If you wanted examples, shit, I really couldn't just give you one off the hand, but I can just say my attitudes and just shit like that, you know, just you can just encounter, you know what I mean? Just, and there's always been, you know what I'm saying? Just bullshit ass, suck ass dudes, you know what I mean? But it just seems so much more apparent, bro. Like, it's almost like an in thing. I can't call it.
Yeah, because if the lines of what is strong and what is weak is blurred, then that's why it's going to be more apparent. If this is highlighted as strong, cool, and represents masculinity, versus this, oh man, you just a square, you just a sucker, man. You don't know nothing about the streets, man. You a Uncle Tom, you a sellout. And this one is you feel me? A real one from the hood. You know, you see what I'm saying? The lines of what's strong and weak is blurred, of what's practical and impractical. Even though it should be very simplistic, it's not. But let me bring up this other visual. Now, it may be a little small, but don't trip. I got you. And this is 13 signs of a weak man in a relationship. And I discuss all the time, the relationships are not limited to just your spousal or your significant other. It's also your familial relationships and your friendships and your co-worker relationships and your business relationships. So 13 signs of a weak man in a relationship. So I'm going to go through 5, then the other 5, and then the final 3. So that way we can just chop it down and discuss it like that. So number 1, he doesn't love himself. And number 2, he doesn't keep his word. Number 3, he's competitive with you. Number 4, he's only intimate during X. Number 5, he never considers the future. Mr. Best, do you agree or disagree that these are signs of a weak man in a relationship?
It can be. You know what I'm saying? It definitely can be. These are definitely signs that somebody could be weak in a relationship. But some people like those things. Some people want that negative, abusive, toxic relationship. Some people live for that shit. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds bizarre, but some people want to only date people that are negative, that are toxic. You know what I mean? And they call it like trauma bonding and all types of other shit. Other terms, you can look it up if y'all want. But some people like that. For me, that's not healthy for me. I'm not dealing with none of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody should do any of that. I think it's stressful. I think it's bad. I think it's not good for your health overall. But some people want that. Some people only want to date people living that type of lifestyle, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. It's a true thing. We've seen it, both of us. Like they want that action. They want the negative action, and they will not stop until they get that. I mean, you can point them in there. You can be like, "Yo, man, you can talk to so and so. Like, they're a cool cat. Nah, I don't want to talk to them. I want the person to be street. What does that mean? You know what that means? Oh, okay. So you want to be on that bullshit time? Okay, cool. All right. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of people roll. Man, Kim, you kind of cooking in them comments. I see you, sis.
All right, Big Rig, I'm coming to you. So do you agree that these, just the first 5, 13 signs of a weak relationship, but we just dealing with just the first 5 right now? A man who doesn't love himself, doesn't keep his word, he's competitive with you. This one seems to be fixated on more primarily like with a significant other, but the other aspects of it apply to other relationships. But it says he's competitive with you, he's only intimate during knocking boots, and he never considers the future. Do you consider any or all of these aspects of being a weak man in a relationship?
Yes. And if you put any other examples on any of that, then that's gonna, to me, make it a different scenario. So like if you're gonna say people do like it, but yet you know it ain't the good thing to do, but people that do like it, you know, it's toxic and whatever. I would say it's toxic. You know what I'm saying? But just all in one, I mean, I would say it's weak because it's selfish. There's a lot of selfish in there. There's a lot of all of that in there. You know what I'm saying? And when you're in a relationship and if it's a me type of thing, bro, it may work out for a little bit because maybe things is always good in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But after a while, bro, that shit ends up showing. You know what I'm saying? And relationships, like I always say, is work. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as a perfect relationship, bro. But at the same time, if you could do shit that I would consider like what you put as examples as some weak ass shit, because if it was on the other foot and the female was acting like that, you know what I mean, you would think you had a weak ass fucking bride. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it with that first vibe, bro. You know, and it's kind of like what I just said before you even read out the 5. How I said with, you know, these dudes, they just have these just different type of attitudes, man. You know what I'm saying? And that combativeness, like you were saying, like want to argue, like that's just so out, bro. That shit that I don't do. I don't feel, you know what I'm saying, if you're a strong man, that you need to argue back and forth. I figure, you know, when you say something, you saying something nice, firm, and stern. And if the message ain't coming across to the other person, bro, then it's just over with. There ain't no more discussion with it, because everything else is just gonna be back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Until there can be a meeting of the minds, maybe later on in the day or whatever, then maybe we can discuss this shit again. You know what I'm saying? But just all that other shit, bro, like that's just weak, bro. And I'm just using that just because that's what the topic is in our easily rigged, you know what I'm saying, discussion tonight, man. Yeah, that's all.
Cool. Thanks a lot, bro. And let me just, you know, dig a little bit deeper into the point of some love a little toxicity. I think more people than are willing to admit love toxicity. You know what I mean? It's just when they're dealing or immersed in the toxicity, they don't really find it toxic because it's so normalized in their life that they're trying to call it something that's not toxic. Just like when someone is being a weak male, he's so used to doing it that he believes that he's exhibiting some level of strength, some level of masculinity. But other people are like, bro, this is super weak. But he doesn't view it like that. And some people are in a toxic scenario, and you know the saying, you can't see the forest from the trees. You need to be outside, have a different vantage point to actually understand what exactly you're dealing with and looking with. But let's just dig a little bit into it. So there have been several studies conducted on people who find themselves in toxic relationships. And a study was published by the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that people who were insecurely attached were more likely to stay in a toxic relationship because they had a fear of being alone and feared the unknown. And some people say it's better to be with the devil you know than the devil that you don't know. And another study published by that same Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that some who were in an abusive relationship had a tendency to idolize their partner and overlook their negative behaviors. So it all depends on how in love someone is and how that love and emotion and whatever baggage they have together, whether it be kids or they're on a lease together, it will find ways for them to rationalize and overlook their negative behaviors, that it becomes normalized so that they don't necessarily see it as toxic because they know that it's toxic, but they have to rationalize it and explain it away so that they don't call it toxic. Because if it's toxic, now I know I got to get away from it. But if I could shape shift it and, you know, kind of call it something else,
dress it up.
There you go. Now it's not toxic. I dressed it up. It's something different, but you know exactly what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what's what really stuck out, B, when you first started talking about that is the whole fear thing, right? Of being alone, and I'd rather be, you know, with the devil, that whole little spiel you put right there. KS, rest in peace, bro. capitalized on that. That was part of his spiel, bro. That was like the whole fear thing, because that is a fact, bro. And see, that's the thing.
He had the main thing. It was called the danger zone. Right.
Right, but the thing is he would always put out there, hey, you know, once you in a certain danger zone, whatever, you need to try to work it out with your ex if possible. Kind of like what you said, bro. Like, hey, you know, whatever. I mean, if it was that bad, you made the choice from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? See if you can work that shit out. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's so true. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants to, you know, be alone, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be alone, bro. Especially when you get older, you know, you get health problems, you get, and I think like young people, they don't really think like that because they're not going through anything. You feel me? But, you know, once you start getting into your 40s, you know, things different. You getting out of bed a little different. You know, you getting reminded that you're getting older. You know what I'm saying? So you would respect, you know, having, you know what I'm saying, that relationship or that partner with you. You know what I'm saying? Through the nights, through the days, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's a fact, bro.
Yes, sir. I just want to say real quick, it's two things. It's just a few things that I think of when I think about this toxic thing. Two are life examples, and one is just the terminology. So one life example was, I knew this girl who worked at a job, and she had a boyfriend, and all he would do was just come up to the job and like he would like walk their dog together. Like that's all she wanted to do. She ain't wanted the brother to work, none of that shit. Like she just wanted him to come by and walk the dog, and she was happy with that. Like she ain't want to do nothing else, right? And she wanted him to be at home, like she wanted to stay at home man. And I also know another example of women who like, yo, I want my man to, you know, have other women that's after him. You know what I mean? I want him to kind of have his pick of the litter. I want him to kind of, you know, be out there a little bit. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It's a really to each his own. And you know, some people are just toxic crusaders, man. They go after the toxicity. They love it. You know what I mean? They can't get enough of it. We see it like Big Ray was saying, we see it on these panels. People love that toxic stuff, man. They love it. They can't get enough of it. You know, I looked at one panel one time. I was just kind of like just skimming through my mentions. I'm not subscribed to this person, but I was going through a panel, and one cat had like 300 people watching. I'm like, they just arguing and bickering. They ain't talking about nothing. They're talking about this one and that one and who turned on who and all this other shit. And I'm like, 300 people watching this shit? You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. And it's not just men, it's women too. I see it with a lot of women. They make these panels and this one going at that one and, oh, I used to know your man and I didn't mess with this one. It's just crazy, but people love this shit, man. And then it trickles down to the relationships and they kind of live this kind of crazy, toxic lifestyle, man. You know what I mean? I know it sounds weird or it may not sound conventional, but it's actually a true thing. Yes, sir. That was a cartoon back in the day too, y'all. If y'all don't know.
That's a cold-looking character, boy.
Fire.
Homie with the mop used to get busy.
Yes, sir. But let me bring up the other ones so we can get the other. So, starting with number 6, because we're talking about the signs of a weak man in a relationship. So we already touched on the first 5 of this list. And number 6 says he's overly concerned with appearances. He expects you to support him. He's pompous around your colleagues. He's passive aggressive. He blames you for everything. What you think about that, Big Rig?
I was muted. Yeah, man, that's shit. And then they throw that blame game in there. That's just being a motherfucking man, boy, oh boy. But you know what though? Like I said, B, I laugh and I talk shit and always bring that up, but I was definitely that dude, man. Just period. I was a blamer, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not with a lot of shit, but like, certain shit, it just to ease out of certain shit. You know what I'm saying? I do the blame thing, bro. But I'm so far just unsubscribed to that whole blame thing, dog. Like when I just see it, like when it's in an example or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so fucking real, you know what I mean? And I think when people see it, they probably just see it and kind of overlook it, you know what I'm saying? And don't understand how like serious that is, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so easy not to take accountability, bro. So easy. In all kind of aspects in life, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and then since we're talking about, the whole week thing and how that's in there, fuck yeah, man. That's some weak ass shit.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And then if you look at the passive aggressive part is what stands out to me, because usually the people that are passive aggressive is because you like to sneak this. Right? You don't like to just call out people's name and say, look, Big Rig, I got beef with you. You like to sneak this, and you like to say, man, the person that ride old schools, man, is from the 408. And then you like, hold on, that kind of sound like you talking about Big Rig. And then you ask him and you like, I never said his name. Did I say Big Rig? Why are you feeling guilty? Why are you being passive aggressive? If you got issues with somebody, why don't you clearly state it? If you have an issue with me.
When I was speaking earlier, because when I started talking about just the dudes being weak and all of the kind of the bitching and all that, the reason why I say that, because just for me, you know what I mean, if we're gonna say that's weak, strong is I'm very firm and direct. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like I'm just firm and I'm direct. I'm not disrespectful. I choose my words, you know what I'm saying, as best as I can, you know what I'm saying? But I'm very firm and direct, bro. You know what I'm saying? So there shouldn't be really too much. And if there is, then we can fix it and kind of air that out. And I can be firm and direct. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And just, yeah, bro, like that shit, that just, that type of behavior like that, bro, it's just, I'm just done with it. You know what I mean? When I spot it, I'm done with it. And I'm through. You know what I mean? It's just, it's conversation over. Okay, we can just move on. You know what I'm saying? You win. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good.
Got you. So let me bring it back up and we can finish it off. What about the blames you for everything part? Have you ever been in a relationship, with your chick, your lady, and you blame her for everything? You don't wash enough, you don't cook enough, or you blame your parents, or you blamed your family. Have you ever been in any type of relationship that you typically blame everyone? Maybe they were at blame, but did you blame yourself, or did you just say, you know what, I'm done with this situation? How does that go with the blame game?
Yeah, I'm a Gemini, bro. So I think that's kind of where the Gemini would kind of kick in. I'm not gonna really go to the blame like in a scenario like that. I will just go ahead and dismiss myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with it. And that could be, you know, shit. That can be some bullshit too, you know, but yeah. That's kind of weird you kind of put that out there like that, because I wouldn't necessarily put the blame on anything like that and be that type of dude. But if I feel something ain't right or whatnot, and I could be wrong, but if that's the kind of shit I'm on, my brain fucking with me like that, yeah, I'm good. I'll be down.
Have you seen that though? Have you seen now? It sounds like you're an upstanding man, you know what I mean? Because that's what I know you to be. But have you seen other people that were not so upstanding that are blaming women for everything?
Yes.
And do you consider that a weak man, or is he just calling it like it is and holding women accountable? Do you see that as someone that's being weak, or someone that's just holding women accountable?
It depends. It depends on what the scenario is, bro. On holding somebody accountable or doing the whole blame thing, bro. And then again, you know, I've seen a lot of men, bro, that just, and it's, you know, people are people. They do what they do. I can only just speak for myself, and I can only speak because I have a son. And if I seen him, you know, showing those type of actions like that, I would correct it. Now, what he do, I can't make him do anything, but I would correct it to let him know, hey, bro, that ain't really the way to go with it. Tell him what I would think how to go with it. Hopefully the examples on how I do things, you know what I'm saying, and how I move, can come into play to where he could see, you know what I'm saying, and he can go ahead and act on it that way. But he won't see me, you know, blaming a woman or going, you know, stupid or whatever on the phone with a chick or any type of display of that, you know what I'm saying? His dad don't get down like that, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what we do. You know, we see dudes that do shit like that and we laugh, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, that shit crazy. You feel what I'm saying? So like, yeah, bro.
All right, for sure, I got you. So let me just go ahead and pull up the last three. He's a terrible listener. He never makes plans, and he doesn't defend you. Which one of those three stands out the most to you? Like, are you a terrible listener, or, you know what I mean, do you see that as a sign of weakness? Are you a person that never makes plans, or do you make plans? Which out of those three that I read off kind of stands out to you? Or you could say, man, that used to be me, or
no, for sure.
Yeah.
And the examples were what? Terrible listener. What else?
Terrible listener, never makes plans, and doesn't defend you. And we're talking about being a weak man in a relationship. This is more or less
right,
focusing on a significant other. But like I said, we can broaden it to the other types of relationships, friendships, business relationships, family, etc.
Yes, and yeah, it just sounds terrible, but I would say the terrible listener, right? But I'd have to throw.
What? I thought you was gonna go with the never makes plan one.
Nah, because I'm the type that like to kind of like want to go out of town or something and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
That's the type I'm on that. But the terrible listener, but only if, you know, if we're gonna talk relationship wise, right? I wouldn't just say off the cuff or nothing, because, you know, I listen because I'm trying to, you know, feel shit out, you know what I mean, with this person, you know, the whole little get down with, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to, you know, see what it is. So, but, you know, when people kind of, you know, show kind of their colors, you know, they may be a babbler, you know, they cool people and shit, but they babble a lot. And just, they say you on a trip, they just constantly talking and you know what I'm saying, just about nothing. So you kind of just tune it out, and then maybe they may be like, hey, woo, And then you'd be like, what do you mean? Well, you don't remember when I was telling you about the whoop-de-wop? And you'd be like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta go ahead and eat that, you feel me? Because hell nah, you know what I mean? But that's only because, you know, it got up to that point, you know what I'm saying? But I could be back in the day, you know, terrible listener, bro. But you gotta bring a motherfucker to that point, man. You know what I'm saying? Just it's like reading the room, bro. You know, like when you say you go somewhere, B-Eazy, right? You know what I mean? We in a studio setting, right? You know, and there's a couple cats, you know, it's like, oh, what's up, bro? Woo, woo, you know what I mean? And then you just see this one cat that's just constantly talking, bro. Like everything. Like you could bring up something, somebody else bring up something, he got something on that. You feel me? Like with whatever subject it is. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, man, me and my partner was woo, woo, woo. Oh yeah, I was over there at that same and you just like, damn, what's up with bro? You feel me? Like you would tune him out. You know what I'm saying? So if you was ever to see dude again or whatever in the same type of setting or whatever, that's just what it would be. You know what I'm saying? He'd already be labeled. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, bro, just kind of he be on. You know what I'm saying?
And I hear you, bro. I was just looking up some stuff as you was talking. But because I want to bring up another visual, so hold up. 1 second. Since we was kind of delving into the relationships, I want to bring this one up. So it says, a man must first find himself before he finds his woman, or he'll damage whatever woman comes in contact along the way. What you think about that, Big Red?
I agree, B-Eazy. Again, just speaking for myself, my attitude was real. It wasn't really bad, bro. But I mean, you know what it is, man. We from the Bay Area, dog. So like, you know, our mindset was a little bit different when it came to women. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Basically, like you want to be on my time. You know, basically, I ain't on your time. You feel me? Like just, you know, the dates and even stuff like that. You know, you know the chick, you know, she kind of want to be in your presence. So she, hey, yeah, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go out. You know what I'm saying? You know, have a good time. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, it's just different, bro. So when it comes to like ask the question again, because I got off under that shit because it was going into that question you just asked.
A man must first
find it, right. So and the thing is my mindset was more like on that, and that's, to me, that's negative, right? You know what I mean? Like that's more of like how I was saying selfish, right? What I was talking about earlier. That's weak, bro. If relationship wise, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you do find yourself, bro. You gotta make sure you on a page of, you know what I'm saying, being able to welcome somebody into your life and respect them, you know what I'm saying, and not just disrespect them like that play with the whole sex thing. You know, that's the only time you're intimate is, you know, when you get in the guts. You feel me? Like, other than that, there's no affection, there's no nothing, there's, you know what I'm saying? And if you're not programmed for that, like, because I was programmed on some other shit. That's why I was talking what I was talking. That's what threw me off. I was trying to, you know, give a little background, because like I was just programmed on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you don't find yourself, man, and able to pour into somebody, bro, and not just be about yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Yeah, you got to find yourself, but not just be about yourself, bro, because you will be damaging to somebody. And I feel I was an asshole to, you know what I'm saying, a couple of people, you know what I mean? And and I wish I could take that shit back. You know, and sometimes I think some of the things that I go through now is because of the actions that I kind of put out there, you know, before. You know what I'm saying? And I may have had somebody feeling a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel karma is real, bro. So, but again, you know what I'm saying? I've come to a whole different understanding. You know what I'm saying? And you know, years back, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, but come to a whole different understanding on just on communication and trying building a better relationship, just period. Not even just with fucking your spouse or whatever, but just even with people. Like, I'm not a people person, but if I engage or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying, it would be good. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be nothing negative. I'm not gonna have anybody feeling uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna know how to conduct myself and shit like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just having that attitude, like, I don't give a fuck, and you know what I'm saying? What you looking at? You know, type shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And like it says, a man must first find himself before he finds his woman, or he'll damage whatever woman he comes in contact with along the way. And like, hold up, like Creative Solution says, the same can be said about women, but we're just dealing with the men right now, unless any of the lovely women from the chat want to come up. But
no,
look,
she's right though. That's a fact. But yeah, we putting it more in a sense on the dudes, but you know what I'm saying? We on the dudes' helmets right now. We taking accountability.
correct.
That's
and it's like, look, bruh, I know you want to hit some, but look, just because you penetrate some vagina don't mean that you got to try to lock it down or try to manipulate and gaslight a chick to think that there's a relationship that you want to be in that you know you don't want to be in. The relationship you need to be working on is the relationship with yourself, because there's a lot of demons that you haven't even unpacked, you haven't even addressed. You acknowledge their existence, but you're ignoring them, and you thinking, hey, I can just wish them away or ignore them away. And it's not fair to yourself, and it's definitely not fair to any woman out there that has to deal with the demons, and vice versa. Like I said, this pertains to both genders, but what we're dealing with right now is the men. So what the women need to do better is a separate discussion. So what I'm saying is, as weak men are on the rise, we don't need a bunch of weak, effeminate, overly emotional, docile, mentally fragile men getting into relationships and having rage, so much rage that they physically assault someone, that they're verbally and emotionally assaulting people. All you're doing is assaulting yourself. That doesn't show masculinity. You are not exemplifying and exhibiting strength. If anything, you're showing how weak you are. You're showing that you are intellectually a coward and that you're emotionally a juvenile, because you can't even handle yourself to not be triggered by certain words. And when people say certain things, most of the times the reason why they're able to trigger you is because something that they said may be true, or it might be relatable to you. Now, this is not all the time, but in many instances, people are saying something about you. Hey man, you need to get in the gym. Look, if you know you need to get in the gym, you should have already been your harshest critic. So if someone says that to you, it shouldn't hurt your feelings. But when it does start hurting your feelings, it's because you know that you should have been in the gym, and you're just triggered by somebody else making that observation.
Right.
You've already made the observation yourself,
right,
in the mirror.
Right.
So what is there to be mad about? The reason why you're mad is because you know it's true and someone else is pointing it out. It's just like when somebody say, oh, this chick is a hoe. You feel me? A chick that's virtuous and has a husband and kids, she's gonna laugh that off. But a chick that has an OnlyFans and has been for the streets and has a long body count, she's gonna take that and she's gonna say F you, F your mama, your
and
mama.
their IG is nothing but skimpy clothes, all this shit.
That's when they say hit dogs holler. And if the shoe fits, wear it.
What do they say, B-Eazy? They say F you. What do they say?
They say a lot, but I'm saying I don't remember what I just said.
Hey, you changed up the voice and everything. Like they was just had the bonnet on, going crazy and stuff. F you, F your mama, you know.
Oh yeah, they for sure.
Your mama's a bee.
Yeah. Your mama be your phone. Your mama got an OnlyFans. I bet your daddy. Oh, they'll hit you with this one too. I bet your daddy like it.
Right.
Bro, if they hit you with that one, they trying to destroy you.
You'd be like, you probably do, you motherfucker.
Hey, I mean, I ain't gonna hate on Pops trying to get you.
Right.
If you want to spend his social on, you feel me?
Fuck.
Some cheeks, it's within his rights.
That shit crazy.
But she said, I had a man tell me that he needs to learn how to like and love himself. Well, at least he was honest with you. And she said some of these guys selfishly get women pregnant. I do agree, because some people, they want to be like, oh, well, she's attractive, so I want to lock it down. But it's like, dude, she's toxic and you're incompatible. Yeah, but she fine, bro. And she got cheeks. And I know I'm her baby daddy, so I'm always going to be able to smash. Like, bro, that's not a reason to have a kid.
But also some of these dudes be seeing them, because some of them be lightweight stable, you feel me? And they like, yeah, I gotta put one in there, you know what I'm saying? Because she got a little shit going on. You know, I kind of be like sleeping in the car sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Seed, huh?
You feel me? So yeah, man.
I got you. I got you. You gotta plant that seed. All right, cool. Let me bring up this other visual.
Got about 3 of them seeds out there.
I know how I be, brother. I know what you're saying. So let me pull this up then. So it says, a weak man will never know what to do with a woman with a strong personality. She'll speak her mind and he'll blame her attitude for pushing him away, knowing damn well he was just too afraid of what she represents. Big Rig, what you think?
I think a strong woman, bro, depending on her delivery, but she's gonna want to push her man to be great, bro. Because you know, a lot of women, and this is like in the beginning. This you know, it's always good in the beginning. So say you may be a little whatever in the beginning, she's gonna be like, oh, it's okay, you can, you know, like it'll get better. You know, they got the encouragement and everything going, you feel me? But it's all on the delivery, bro. You know, so they always gonna want their man to be the best they can be, because why? For one, that's gonna be good for them. You know what I'm saying? Because we treat, you know, our women good, bro. Like if we got it, you know what I'm saying, we gonna give it to our woman, bro. If it's our woman, we gonna do that. That's as I could say that's a fact when it comes to me. Like I don't be hating like that. If I got it, man, and she want it, man, we gonna get it, bro. But you know, if she kind of saying things and it's more of a like, you ain't shit type, you need to whoop, like, man, and it's like, man. But you know, if you're a weak dude and you're not used to somebody, you know, trying to push you to do a little bit better than what you're doing, because for one, you definitely probably can. I'm just saying this in a big example scenario, but you know, then you're gonna have a problem with that, you know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna be like, you know, don't tell me shit, you know. You may even get on that hype like, I'm the man, you know. What the hell you telling you? You may get on that whole manosphere hype on their ass one time, you know what I'm saying? It may trigger you feel me? You're just out the blue, you know, you may flash. So yeah, man, that's a fact, bro.
Yeah, you go from big rig to big red pill. Big red.
Yeah, babe, you should whoop. Like, huh? What you mean? You should whoop. Don't worry about what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this shit for whoop years. You know, to just get on one. You know?
Big red pill pops.
That's a cold skit right there, boy.
But let me go over that again. A weak man will never know what to do with a woman with a strong personality. She'll speak her mind and he'll blame her attitude for pushing him away, knowing damn well he was too afraid of what she represents. Now, there are times where a woman's attitude is actually justified and you'll be okay with that, right? Dude may have been stepping out, cheating on this lady. Dude may have got physical or said something very verbally. He may have just did something completely outlandish and out of
Came
line.
through with a hickey, said he got it from a wrench falling on him. Oh, bullshit.
I'm saying at that point, you don't want to hear her nagging, but you understand that the attitude is legitimate. Right. She does have a valid reason to have attitude. I can accept that, but then if you just coming home and then she's just nagging at you for no,
that's a whole different story, boy.
That's a whole different scenario. You know what I mean? And in that situation, I don't even know why you would stay in that situation.
Yeah, man.
I know people will be like, no, oh man, the box was good and you know her jaw was good, or you know, I like this and she's beautiful, but it's definitely not worth your peace. It's not worth your most precious asset that you can ever get back, which is your time. And at that point, there's really no point to complain, right? Because it's like you going out on a summer day. You don't want to wear sunscreen. You don't want to have an umbrella. You don't want to have shades or anything that blocks the sun. Then you experience the totality of the sun, and then you complaining about the sun. Man, it's too hot. I got tanned. And it was like, bro, you already knew what the sun was going to do. You knew the temperature. You knew it was going to be a very hot day, and you went out there despite all of that, and you refuse to prepare yourself, right? Same thing with these chicks that know this dude may be weak, know this dude may be effeminate and not a leader, and not only do you choose to have intercourse with them, that's one. You choose to have unprotected intercourse with them. So you didn't tell him to put on a condom. He didn't even think about putting on one. And that's okay, right? Because, you know, things happen. That's what y'all like to say. But the thing that happened was a life that you brought in that now y'all supposed to navigate for at least a minimum of 20 years, at least. Don't you think a serious decision like that calls for you to not choose a weak man? Don't you think a situation like that causes you as a man to not be a weak man? Because the woman choosing a weak man, that's her. That's her folly. That's her ignorance. But you being a weak man, most of the times it's not from ignorance. It's from your desire and a form of cowardice because you don't want to be a strong man. It's easier to be a weak man. And that's what I was saying when it comes to comfortability. It's easier to be comfortable. It's very difficult being a strong man. So when you start thinking about comfortability, it's easy to eat ice cream all day. It's easy to eat donuts. It's easy to hit Netflix and chill. It's easy to find thoughts that you can smash. It's easy to trick money. It's easy to go to the strip club. All of these things are easy. But none of that stuff makes you strong.
None of that stuff makes you strong. Let me tell you what's not easy though, man. And you know what? Like we say it, and it's true, fellas. But I gotta keep it 100. You are gonna have. I'm not gonna say you're gonna have that. I can't do that. There's gonna be a strong possibility that you will have a slip up. Because look, you know, when we talk about the box and we talk about those type of things like that, it's almost depending in this, like I said, it depends, you know, but you know, those are like, you know, some of the greatest pleasures, right? You know, just like how people may like to smoke their tree or drink their alcohol, and they try to, you know, they try to quit. Sometimes they have a slip up. They had a god darn Christmas party and somebody gave them a drink and they took a sip. You know what I'm saying? And it can go the same way kind of with when we say, you know, even though the shit is good and everything, you gotta leave that shit alone. And you do. But it depends on, you know, if you put yourself in a effed up scenario with that person, and next thing you know, you then dip back into the fucking shit, and you know what I mean? And you know you shouldn't have did it. But the reason why I had to stop and say that, because it's easy to say, don't, you know, if it's toxic, whatever, you know, but at the same time, in real life, you know what I'm saying, you gotta really be away from, you gotta cut all kind of ties, bro. Like you just have to, because you don't want to be in a situation or whatever and then boom, you fall into weakness, bro. I'm just saying, that's just, we're human. And then if we're gonna put it out there like the shit is, you know, fire, I'm just saying, man. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
Oh shit, man! God dog it, man! I gotta keep it 100, man.
Little rig slaps.
Man,
We know exactly what you're saying. But hold up, I got another one to pull up. Just give me 1 second here. All right, this is the one right here. Hold up. A man who lies to himself and believes his own lies becomes unable to recognize the truth, either in himself or anyone else, and he ends up losing respect for himself and for others. When he has no respect for anyone, he can no longer love When he has no respect for anyone, he can no longer love, and in him, he yields to his impulses, indulges in the lowest form of pleasure, and behaves in the end like an animal, and satisfying his vices. And it all comes from lying to others and lying to yourself. What you think about that, Rick?
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
I really don't know what to say to that, but that's pretty fucking dangerous, man.
Yeah, so I'll say something to it. A man who lies to himself and believes his own lies becomes unable to recognize the truth. So once you're lying to yourself so much, you become in a alternate state of reality, which is a delusion of grandeur, of a delusion of toxicity, and you begin to not being able to separate what is truth and what is reality. Because if you've told a lie so many times, the lie is only predicated on the next lie. The only way the lie holds up is if you continuously tell it. You can't tell a lie for 2 weeks.
You can't remember a lie, bro.
Correct. So you have to just keep repeating it. Oh, yeah. It's extremely dangerous. But lies are effective tools as well, right? When people could lie and get on and say, here, subscribe to my Patreon. I'm a dating coach. I'm a financial advisor, whatever. Some people could tell the truth, or some people could be lying, and it can be effective to them. And then they lie so much, i.e. fake it to make it, that it actually starts to becoming true. So then you think that, hey, I lied so much and look what I was able to attain. So now I got to keep lying because lying is actually lucrative for me, right? If I was a rapper and I lied about having 6 bodies, and then people like, bro, I bought your album, it was dope. Ain't you the one with 6 bodies? Now I got to continuously lie because I built a whole empire of people supporting me based off the lie and the fallacy that I didn't do. But then if I say that I didn't do it and tell the truth, nobody will respect me, but they respect the lie that I told. So it's definitely a very, very precarious position to be in. But it also says, when he has no respect for anyone, he can no longer love, and in him, he yields to his impulses, indulges in the lowest forms of pleasure, and behaves in the end like an animal. So when they're talking about the lowest forms of pleasure, that's talking about being addicted to XXX content. That's talking about subscribing to OnlyFans. It's talking about going to strip clubs and making
You're a
it
monster.
Yeah, but you're
running around here in a trench coat.
Well, some people actually are, but even the ones that are not running around in a trench coat, they're watching people online in trench coats banging chicks out because they're addicted to the XXX videos, and then they're addicted to Instagram. Even if you don't subscribe to a chick's OnlyFans, you go on your Instagram, it's nothing but scattered cakes everywhere. But why are those cakes there? Not because they're just there, it's because you've been following, clicking, and liking all of the cakes. So the algorithm has already been like, we got you. Every time you hop on Instagram, you always liking cake photos. You always liking chicks twerking. Then you keep seeing like, oh, an Instagram model. You think that they're just everywhere. They're everywhere in your feed because that's what you keep looking at. That's actually making you weak because you have a distorted sense of reality of what women actually are. You think every chick is going to be an Instagram model. And then if a chick doesn't have an Instagram model body, she may not even be able to get you aroused.
B-Eazy, let me tell you something, man. Not to just cut you off, but just
go ahead.
Because, bro, like, let me tell you what's a crazy ass mentality, bro. So like, I used to go to Vegas, and we go, we hit the strip club and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, and have a blast, right? Dog, like, it was so bad because of the environment, right? The environment. We would go and like get food somewhere, bro, and I would just want to tip the fucking waitress, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we ain't even at a spot like that, bro. Like, but my mentality, like, I was just already programmed on a high. You know what I'm saying? It's really a mess, man. It's a mess, bro. Go ahead, though, man. I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I would say, like, when it comes to behaving like an animal, many people do behave like an animal because you might behave like an animal because you're violent. And some people think that violence is a sign of strength, but it's really not. I can be more violent than you ever could fathom. The people want to act like they really are built like that. And if you ever were to come at me, the level of violence that I would match or exceed you with, you won't be able to deal with it. So when people discuss violence, Most times they're not even prepared for the level of violence that it's going to go to. If you are a really strong man, you would want to avoid violence. What is violence actually going to lead to, right? Let's just say that you will be the victor, right? And your violent encounter will delete me. Now you got to be on the run because you deleted somebody over what? Over some words, over the internet, over a misunderstanding, over scuffy shoes, over a chick that's for the streets, something very frivolous and something petty. You think that you would be representing strength if you deleted me over that? No, what will be strong is for you to squash it. We go to lunch and then we end up doing business together and making money together. What sounds stronger? Us saying, you know what, man, this is weak, bruh, and then we make some money together, or us yelling like a bunch of little bratty schoolgirls meeting up, fighting and shooting at each other. Does that sound strong? It doesn't to me, but maybe I'm wrong. What you think, Big Red?
Nah, that sounds whack.
And the thing is, people will think, oh man, because you want some square stuff, or are you soft? It's like, bruh, first of all, the squares that I know have more firearms than you. So what are you talking about? You're a thug, but you have one firearm. I have several. So even if I was a square and I bounce out with multiple firearms, what does it matter with you being a thuggish person with one revolver? You know what I mean?
God, I was just about to say that. Like, I know my square partners, bro, they got some shit. But then some of my, partners that be with this shit, they may have something, or they partner got something. You feel me?
They got a borrow strap. Like, come on, bruh. You got a strap on Lilway. You got to hit Man who got to call Tyrone to get the strap. Mine's is on me. I'm right.
Or you got whoop-de-whoop shit. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
like,
calling nobody for mine's. Mine's is only... Mine's is within reach. I got arms in reach, but the thing is, I have my voice, and what I want to do is eliminate that. Let's not even take it there. When people say shoot the face, shoot the fair one, let's not even do that, because that's an act of violence that's going to progress to something more. If I beat you up and stomp you out, it's not going to end there.
It's not going to end, bro.
Vice versa, you do that to me, it's not going to end there. So let's just avoid that level of violence.
Who wants to look over their shoulder, man?
Yeah, most of the time it's for a very petty and a frivolous reason anyways. So why are we going to exacerbate a situation by, beating on our chest? It's like, you're not going to prove anything. Most of y'all dudes is lightweight anyways. So I wouldn't get any stripes for knocking you off anyways. You know what I mean? So I don't know why some people act like they want to take it to that level. And this what gets me too. People will run their mouth and chirp, and then I say, you know what? Cool. You talking all this stuff, I'm going to pull up on you. And then if I pull up on you and then something happens to you, now you want to say, oh, bro, that was weak, man. You were so emotional. But, bro, you was just asking for this stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're calling and provoking the bear, and then the bear comes and pulls up on you and does what a bear does. Now you're saying the bear is emotional. But weren't you being emotional for poking the bear just for your own weird, kind of goofy, antagonistic reasons? So.
But now you wrong though, right?
I'm just saying that's a sign of weakness too, because it's kind of back like the passive aggressive, right? I'm poking Big Rigs. I'm making little sneak disses at Big Rig, and then Big Rig finally snap you like, dang, man, why you yelling and acting all angry? You're emotional. And nobody sees what they've been doing prior. Have they been doing all this sneak? It's like, bruh, I gave you multiple passes. I gave you more passes than I would give anyone else. So be respectful and mindful of that, because just simply acting out in violence doesn't represent strength. Not at all. Now, it can represent strength, but it doesn't automatically, inherently represent strength. And hold on. I thought I had one more. But I think we covered like a great deal when it comes to speaking about weak men being on the rise. And masculinity is just, I mean, it's kind of all over the place. Some people are trying to say masculinity is fluid. And when you say masculinity is fluid, what does that mean? That means they're trying to push the boundaries of what masculinity actually is. What it means is supposed to mean anything. It's supposed to mean any and everything. And when it means any and everything, then you can't completely define it. So when it means any and everything, that means when a dude is wearing a dress, then that's masculinity. That's what they're trying to do. Now, I'm not willing to accept that. And some people may think that I am wrong for not considering this masculine. They will call people all sorts of phobic words. If you
what
don't,
if your buddy jumped in your car with that fit on and y'all was finna go to the bar?
I don't know any of my buddies that would do this, but you know, I was respectful. It's just I would just drop them off at the bar and then ski skirt. I'll drive. You still my brother. I would drop you off. No,
but I ain't gotta deal with that bullshit though, right?
Cause not at
That's
all.
crazy, bro. That's crazy.
What about you?
Hey, brother, I'm not mad at your answer, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I said, bro, I'm a respectful dude, bro, but nah.
Yeah, nah. Like I said,
I might change. You know, I might. Oh, bro, you know what I mean? I came through because, man, I gotta go to the whoopty whoop and shit, bro. Like, we might have to hit at the bar. You know what I'm saying? Another. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, man, for sure. You know, he may have been on his fashion week hype. You know, I don't know. But I guarantee you. I guarantee you, though, that next conversation, though, be like, yeah, bro, I don't know, bro. Like, you know, this shit. I feel you. That was a cool little, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I can't be at the bar and shit like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just have to keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if it's my partner. You want to put on that, you know, garment, you know what I'm saying? Then, shit.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be mad, but like you said, just as well as I can't be mad, they can't be mad when I say.
They can't be mad either, bro. Come on.
Yeah, it's like, bro, I can't do it. You feel me?
Like, I just got to bow down to your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. And sometimes I be feeling that's kind of what they be wanting motherfuckers to do, dog. Like, that's how they want to turn the other cheek with the shit. It's like, come on, man. Like, do what you do, but don't make it as if I gotta fucking okay the shit. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to be like, all right, I'm not cool with it. Y'all do your thing.
Yeah, that's where they kind of lose me. You feel me? Because they want to basically kind of force
push a line,
whatever they like on you. Yeah, it's like, bruh, I respect your position and your you know, your ability to do whatever you want. It's just like you got the freedom of expression, but I also could, you know, say I don't want to be seen, you know. And that's where it gets a little bit tricky, or, you know, because sometimes people might think like, hey, I swing a certain type of way or something. And I know people will say, hey, well, you shouldn't worry about what people think, but
that's so fucking invalid, bro.
I know it's pretty good. but people do really try to
that's
say,
just like saying people don't judge.
And that's what people say. Well, why do you care? I don't care about what nobody say about me. I'm just like, okay, bro. Like, is this what we're doing?
Fucking shit.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, is this really what we're doing here? Like, you know what I mean? Acting like no one cares about what people think. That's why people present a certain image, right, on social media based on you care. That's why you show jewelry in certain cars because you care. Oh no, this is just my life. Well, if you live that life already, why do you need to show it off to other people? Don't act like you're trying to inspire people. You're showing people off to floss. Flossing is not inspirational. And don't tell me, oh, well, I'm teaching people behind scenes. You can't be saying that I'm a Christian or I'm I'm a conservative or I'm this, but all you're doing is the opposite of what a traditional person would be doing, opposite of what a Christian would be doing. But then you're trying to preach Christianity to me. Like, bro, what are you talking about? You feel me? Here, man, you should be a vegan. I was like, bro, you got a plate of ribs right there. Yeah, but you should be vegan. It's like, maybe I should be vegan. But you eating a plate of ribs, you shouldn't be the one telling me that, bro. And that's what people do. They'll say, oh, man, this is what's wrong with the community. It's like, bro, you doing the same thing that you just said was wrong with the community, bro. It's like, all right, maybe you're right, but what are you doing to change those conditions? Oh, none, I'm going to just tell you what's wrong. All right, cool, we know what's wrong. Like, what are we going to do about it? Oh, nothing. I'm going to just make content and tell you what's wrong. Come on, bro. That's weak right there. That's soft right
there. That word needs to go to hell, bro. Content. That is the worst word ever, bro. That's all that the fucking content. Even somebody gets smoked, content.
They
ain't trying to go to jail for no help. They ain't trying to do nothing. A car flip off the fucking highway.
With the camera out. And it's a race to see who could, like, if we both seen an accident, it's like, oh, Big Rick seen the accident. I gotta post it first before him, because whoever posted first, they get the viral video.
Yep.
Like, come on, bro. Ooh, man, I love Takeoff. He's my favorite rapper, but let me stream his death.
Right.
Man, that's so sad what happened to George Floyd. But let me share it over and over and over. I would never want that to happen to anyone in my family, but I'll watch it happen to somebody else.
It's a fact.
Come on, bro. But John was in here. He said he can't hear nothing, but I don't know why. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay. Guess he having technical difficulties. Well, we about to shut it down pretty soon, John, but if you could come back in within like the next 10 minutes, we'll keep it going. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up and just get you up on the next one. And y'all can also check me out on my channel as well. B-Eazy Dat Dude. Just look me up. And then there's Big Rig Slaps. So, we'll definitely be doing more streams here, EazilyRigged on knowledge and relationships, and our own channel. It's like a complete network when we're trying to take over the YouTube streets. So,
brother said, take over the YouTube streets.
Well, you know what? I mean, it hasn't been an actual effort, at least on my part, to take over. But if I was to take over, then I know that it will be in better hands than it is now. It's too much Sambo stuff. It's too much coonery and buffoonery going on right now. It's too much simping. Too many people are saying that they red pill and that they are masculine and high value. And many of them are proving to be dweebs, nerds. Many of them are proving to be lames. Many of these dudes are proving to see that they get no chicks. Many of these dudes are complaining about chicks, but at the same time trying to smash the chicks and getting curved by these chicks. Then they're red pill raging. That's weakness. Many of these dudes are acting like they want to schedule fights, and they get on panels and argue back and forth and say, hey, I'm really about that life. And then somebody says, pull up. No one pulls up. No one drops any addresses. No fists are being thrown. No bullets are being tossed. And I'm not advocating for any of this stuff, but these are what the people are saying that they're willing to do, that they're actually about. Content. That's all it's about. People are threatening fights. People are threatening shooting at people. And all that's happening is more content, more visual media that's not resulting into anything but clicks and views that people could blame on the Black community. So when there's people that graduate from college, do you notice no one calls that Black culture? When people graduate from college, that's not Black culture. When people are saying like, hey, I have a successful job, that's not Black culture. A drive-by in Chicago, that's Black culture. Huh? Like what? Every culture has elements of toxicity, and they have elements that is terrific and fabulous about it. Do you ever hear any of the fabulous parts of Black culture, or do people just attach the negative depravity? So you mean to tell me when I see a whole class full of HBCU men graduating, no one calls that Black culture? No one attributes that to Black culture. But then two dudes from Chicago do a drive-by, and then that's Black culture. Make that make sense. And really, we was about to shut down, but if you want to come up real quick, because I just dropped something heavy on it. Hold up. Wait a minute. So Rilla, just let me know if you want to come up. And you can just get your opening and closing. But what I'm saying is, you know what? Hold on, I gotta pull some visuals up, because y'all playing, bro. I'm not on this coonery and buffoonery, and y'all want to only talk about what's the toxic elements of Black culture. I just seen one kid that had a record. He had a record of scholarships, 125 scholarships. Let me pull the brother name up. I ain't gonna disrespect dude like that. But did you see that story, Big Rig?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay. Let me game you right now. We are not about to play with y'all, man. It's too many Sambos in the space, and we ain't having that. Sometimes y'all be dealing with these low-level suckers that's intellectually inept, incompetent. What you dealing with somebody who is not only street but sophisticated. So, most of you cats can't fool with me. I really say none of you cats can fool with me, but there is some reputable people out there, but I rock with them anyway, so it's no competition. So I'm only talking about the opposition. None of the opposition out there could fool with me. You simply are not formidable enough. But let's talk about this young man. See, when there's things like this, no one considers this dude part of Black culture. Now, if he had a gun, if he had a Draco, then people will say, oh, that's Black culture. Black culture is trash. Black culture is toxic. Black culture. But hold on. When we say that this dude, Malik Barnes, has earned more than $9 million in scholarship money, which is a national record, not a local record, a national record. Come on now. Dennis Barnes is already breaking multi-million-dollar records and attracting attention from college and universities. So, yes, the dude shatters the U.S. record with 125 college offers, which amounts to $9 million in scholarships. This is Black culture. You see what I'm saying? So I just had to set that up there for y'all, because people act like they just simply don't understand. Black culture is only if you shoot somebody. If you graduate college, it's not Black culture. You can only say it's Black culture if you shoot somebody. I mean, come on, bro. What are we talking about? Do I got to bring up a list of doctors? Why don't y'all include the black doctors as part of black culture? When y'all bring up black culture, you bring up a chick twerking and a dude gangbanging. When you bring up black culture, you bring up Pookie and Ray Ray. But what about Jamal, who graduated college? What about Bilal, who is a doctor? What? They don't count? They're not a part of black culture? And if they is, why don't you talk about them? You see what I'm saying? Because when we talk about white culture, we can talk about all the presidents who many of them were slave owners. That's a toxic part of the culture. But then we could also talk about very beautiful, very progressive, very successful elements. You're not disparaging them. You're just telling a complete story. Here are the good parts and, the elements that we want to highlight. And here's the ones that we can change. Yes, there are things about black culture that are negative, but that's just human nature. It's not just exclusive to black culture. But if we gonna fixate on what's negative, how about we fixate on what's positive? We giving all these negative reinforcements, but where are the positive reinforcements? Huh? Because I'm waiting to hear it. You feel me? And people want to be whining about, oh, these other groups do this, these other groups do that, these other groups celebrate. They celebrate their accomplishments, and they know that they have toxic elements in their community, but they don't fixate on them. They focus on the positivity because they want the positivity to be reinforced and to reign supreme. But the same people that complain about toxic elements of the community perpetuate the toxic elements. They are completely consumed and absorbed with it. So are you really trying to help the community? Are you really even trying to create a community? Because I tell people, don't even worry about saving the community. Worry about constructing the community. Worry about creating a community. And if you're not doing that, then everything else that you're doing is child's play. And I have to question the sincerity of what you're talking about. If you're just a content creator, then just say that. But don't try to act like you're some sort of pillar of the community or representation of Black excellence or just American societal excellence when you're not willing to simply acknowledge the good that a group is doing. When you talk about other groups, you always lead with what they're doing so great, but then you lead with what we're doing bad. You can't lead with what we're doing good, or are you saying that Black people are doing nothing good? You can't say that because I'm bringing up imagery, stats, articles showing how good we're doing, but those never come up. You bring up crime stats that are highly skewed, that are actually a huge misnomer, and this has been historically proven. Y'all will bring up crime stats all day, but when y'all bring this up, is this not Black culture? What is this? Is this depravity? Is this disenfranchised? Is this weak men? What exactly is this? Because this looks like Black culture to me. This looks like Black culture to me. But when y'all talk about Black culture, y'all never show these imageries. Why is that? I really want somebody to answer me, bro. What you think, Big Rig?
They don't want to show that, bro. They don't want to show the strength that we have. They'd rather show us tearing each other down, man, and showing us just
this. If you want to follow something, a representation,
that's
model,
a better regimen right there, man.
Exactly. So yeah, I would say weak men are on the rise, but I don't think weak men will be able to take over, because I think that the strong men will come together, unite, and make sure that they won't be overrun by weak men or weak males.
Yep.
But yeah, so thank everybody who stopped by. We just gonna run a couple visuals and then we gonna get up out of here, man. You are now tuned in to another installment of Easily Rigged. B-Eazy Dat Dude, Big Rig Slaps in the building. So let me just set this up real quick.
Yeah, make sure you send me that to my DM, bro.
Got you. All right, hold on. Let me get the other one too. Hold up. Hold up.
Yeah, Easily Rigged. Shout out my boy B-Eazy. I be Big Rig Slaps, man. You know what it is. Another edition. Let's get it going. Tuesday night.
Got me leaning like a chumbo in the club. I'm 20 deep. I don't be riding solo. Pull some bad. They vanilla and cocoa. They wanna take some photos when we kick it out in Soho. Chicks is showing tits and popping pussy for my promo. Told them like juvenile, baby, move it for me slow mo. Then I'm right back to the block, cause I keep getting moto. I be flipping, not shrinking. I don't give a fuck about no. This nigga name ain't D-Lo, but these bitches stacking this ring forever be my stilo. This is B-Eazy Dat Dude in the trap making pass smooth. If I ever go broke, then I'm about to pull a move. Since a nigga healthy, I don't even gotta worry. With my some Fiji and tandoori and chicken curry, that ism is really indie. My ain't international, I design my own clothes, so I be always looking fashionable. Here's a couple facts about me that y'all didn't know. Some of y'all be getting bread, but I be getting bigger, dog. I got bigger than a whole lot of bad bitches.
You are now tuned into another installment of Easily Rigged. B-Eazy Dat Dude, Big Rig Slaps, two of the dopest to ever do it, you feel me? Put some respect on their name.
Easily rigged. another installment of Easily Rigged on the Knowledge and Relationships platform. Your viewership and support is immensely appreciated, and for that, we thank you. Shout out to Eda Man Williams.
Salute, E, salute.
And she says, I just came through to support the fam. Salute. And Eda Man, bro, we about to wrap up, but if you want to come up and say like a closing and opening, just let me know. I'm going to play one more visual and then see if I have your answer. If not, then we going to shut the stream down. Yeah. Hey. B-Eazy Dat Dude, yeah. Shit so hot it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up. I bring the pain like an aftermath of a car wreck. It's a lot of niggas that say they real, but to me that shit is far-fetched. Them cats is pussy. They really is on some feminine stuff. I rock up on them with the 40 ounces. It's the definition of adrenaline rush. What it do is sweet like cinnamon puffer. My niggas is rough like Willow Pass. Grew up out on Mary Mac, but I used to hang on Willow Pass. These birds that I roll with, outcasts and misfits. For the zip lips when you get hit. When the fifth spit, flat line in your Fitbit. Patrice is black magic, no voodoo. Get the bands like Buku. For the cocaine, they go cuckoo. So it looks like either man was probably preoccupied. I know he doing his family thing, so shout out to either man coming through late. But yeah, Big Rig, unless you got anything,
you, either man. Appreciate you, either man.
Unless you got anything else, man, I'm gonna just run the outro and we gonna be out.
Another dope stream, you feel me? Shit, man. You already know what it is.
Easily rigged. marriage and relationships.